All right, back again, part three. So, um, I ordered my food and my drink, and I went to go use the restroom. So as I'm going into the restroom, uh, Aisha comes in the restroom too. She was like, "You going to the restroom?" I'm like, "Yeah, girl, I got to break this seal," as they say. Got to break that seal. So she was like, "I do too, girl." So she come in and she telling me about Ken, basically like Hayden. Hayden, because me and Mike they're together, right? So I was like, "Girl, ain't nobody worried about Ken." I said he will be all right. And me and her, we just laughed about it or whatever. So we come out the restroom. She was like, she said something, I don't remember what she said, and then she went back out because we was like sitting out on the patio or whatever. So when I had first came in, I had seen him at the pool table. So he was playing pool by himself. So I go over there and I said, what you over here doing playing pool by yourself? I said, I thought you came in here to order a beer. He was like talking about some he didn't want to be out there no more because of Ken. I said, really? I said, so you gonna let him run you in here? And then time I don't know. And then so we was just sitting down talking. So then my food had came out. So mind you, it was a lot. I had a lot of mozzarella sticks. I had a lot of egg rolls. I'm not finna eat all this shit by myself. So I offered him some. And here he go again, being motherfucking modest. I'm good. I'm not hungry. I said, dude, you drinking. You need to put some food in your stomach. And then I was like, here, try one of these damn egg rolls. I was like, it is good. I was like, try one. And then he was like, he was like, this kind of good. I was like, yeah, see, I told you, gone. Eat the motherfucking egg roll, okay? Put some in your stomach, sir. Stop trying to be all modest and shit. Whatever the fuck. Whether you're being shy or whatever, I don't know. But stop it. Just put this food in your stomach. You're drinking. So me and him was sitting there talking. And then I think I had ended up ordering us another beer too. And so we was sitting there, and then guess who comes in? Ken. What y'all over here doing? We both, and it was crazy because we both turned around. Mind y'all, me and Michael are both Aries. So we both turn around and looking at him like, bitch, none of your business. And those was my exact words. I was like, none of your motherfucking business. But I just came here to see what y'all doing. What we doing ain't got shit to do with you. Take your ass back outside on that patio. And then, so when he left, me and Mike just looked at each other and started laughing. Because we already knew what time it was. Well, more so me. I already knew what time it was. So, and honestly, both of their asses in competition to see who can get. Nigga, both of y'all can go sit the fuck down, okay? But anyway, so we had a good time or whatever. And then we was getting ready to go. So he walked me to my car, and I was like, because this was in, where was this damn place at? In Arlington? Yeah, it was in Arlington. So, I had a little ways home. Because because I'm driving from Arlington to Dallas, you know. And which I sobered up, motherfuckers, okay? I don't drive drunk. Lying like a motherfucker. I did back then. But anyway. But I handled my shit. Like I at least made sure I sobered up some before I drove home. And there were some times that I didn't, but I made it home. So anyway, I was like, you know, I'll call you and let you know or whatever when I make it home. And so did that. We was on the phone for a while. Got off the phone and took me a shower and went my ass to bed. So, mind you, me and him, we ended up like started hanging out, you know, by ourselves. So we would go on little dates, like we go to restaurants, we go bowling, because I had took a liking to bowling. I like it. And so we started going bowling or whatever. And then look, because stuff is going on. The thoughts, they coming, okay? So anyway, where was I at? Oh, we was hanging out or whatever. And then so he ended up, because at the point in time when we first met, he was living with his brother. And then he ended up getting an apartment. So he, when he got his apartment, he got his keys, he came, you know, he called me and he showed me the apartment. So, you know, I'm happy for him. I'm like, congratulations, like you did it, you know. I'm happy. Like really excited for him because, you know, that was his first apartment ever in his whole entire life. That's not funny, but you know, some people just they get out the starting block a little late. And so he got the apartment, and then so I ended up staying over there. So I went, you know, to I don't even know how to put the shit. I guess to show, you know, show my, not appreciation. Fuck that come from? You know, like a housewarming gift. So I went and got some stuff for, you know, his apartment or whatever. And then we was sitting, you know, we talking, and we was, as they say, gardening. Now mind y'all, I didn't do this. I didn't garden a lot. I would occasionally do it before I met him, with, you know, with the group, and then also with my family, right? Like whenever my aunt would have parties at a house, I would go over there, you know, they passing around the gardening tool. They passing around the gardening tools. So I would, you know, garden a little bit, and then that's it. So when I started, you know, coming to his apartment a lot, we would, you know, garden like all the time. And also, you know, drink all the time as well. So mind you, I was spending so much time with him that, you know, they was kind of getting like, hey, you done left us or whatever like that, right? So Candace, I'm gonna do a, matter of fact, we can go ahead and start explaining her in the video. Cause it's honestly some stuff that I'm leaving out because, you know, like I said, thoughts is flowing and I'm trying to get certain things out at the same time. So I had noticed that because when we all started hanging together, her and Mimi was like this, right? And Mimi had told me, like, when I first started talking to Michael, and I had told her, I was like, he had asked me for my number or whatever. She was like, you know, she had told me that, you know, they had talked or whatever. She said they didn't do anything. I don't know how true that is, but she was like, they would just, you know, she would go over there and hang out with him and they would garden or whatever. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, when I asked him, you know, when I would want to come see him when we first started dating, and this was before he got the apartment, he didn't want me to come. But come to find out, you know, like she told me she would go over there and garden with him. And then also this other lady would go over there and garden with him. And then Aisha would go over there and garden with him. But mind y'all, Aisha a stud. But we ain't gonna put nothing past these studs, because these studs be fucking these niggas too. So, anyway, and we get into the part of how this shit is a sex ring. So just listen to what I'm saying, okay? So she was like, you don't fuck with, you know, Candace talking, you don't fuck with us no more. I'm like, nigga, I'm hanging out with my boyfriend. Like, we spending time together, we getting to know each other. Like, and y'all ain't telling me, and honestly, y'all wasn't telling me about no other fucking parties or get together. So what the fuck do you expect? So anyway, mind y'all, like I said, when we all would hang out together, we would be gardening and drinking. So we went to, you know, we would always go to like bars. Like, there was this one particular time we had went to this bar after work. It was like right up the street from our job. And y'all, now I could control myself under alcohol, you know, under the influence. But I started to not be able to for some reason. And we was at the bar, and it was a lot of coworkers there. So and this was still during the time where me and Michael was like first meeting each other. Well, first, like, in the talking stage before we made official boyfriend and girlfriend type shit. And I'm saying that because that's what the fuck it was, boyfriend and girlfriend. It wasn't, that's my man, that's my woman type shit. And mind y'all, he is older than me. I was 32, I think. I don't know. And he was like in his early 40s. 41, 42, somewhere. I don't know, fucker. And so I don't know, fucker. So anyway, um, we was at the bar, right? And wait, was this? This was beforehand. This was before I met Michael. So, and I know I'm all over the place, but it's a lot of shit to remember, okay? And there was a lot of shit going on. So, we was at this bar. What was it called? I don't know. Anyway, Hangout. That's what it was called, Hangout. And Candace knew the owner or whatever, and she knew, you know, the workers or whatever. And how the fuck she knew these folks? Who knows? Nepotism. Somebody knew somebody somewhere along the line. And so we all go there, we having the fruit drinks, you know, people order food, you know, to share with everybody, because not everybody got money, but we all work at the same motherfucking place. Some of us ain't got kids, and some of us do. Well, honestly, none of them had kids. Well, Ken, you know, he got an older daughter, but she had a baby. So, you know, of course he gonna help with his daughter, but like, and not to say that he didn't have money to pay for his drinks and shit like that, but it was certain ones that didn't have money for the drinks. So it was, we all sitting there drinking or whatever. And, you know, me being me, I didn't mind. Like, if we all having a good time, I'm gonna buy you a drink or two when you gonna get out of control. Cause bitch, I got kids to take care of, okay? So it was a couple of times where me and Candace was left to pick up some people's tabs, and it was fucked up. It was fucked up, you know, how they did us, cause they left before we did. So it left us having to pick up their tab. And then there was another time where some other co-workers came. It was like slightly a different group. And I was told up. Like, it's some parts I don't even remember. And I had left my card at the place, so I had to come back the next day and get it. And how I know I left my card, it was because like I said, I was so drunk that it was like black, like certain parts was blacked out, right? But I literally drove home, and like I remember getting in the car, and one of my coworkers, he was like, you sure you good to drive home? And my drunk ass, I remember me like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I was like, I got this. I had it, goddamn. I did. I made it home. And I remember I had patted my pockets and I didn't find my card. But I went home, you know, I got in the house or whatever, took me a shower, and I fell asleep. So I wake up and I was looking for my card. That was the first thing on my mind. My card. And I was like, I don't got it. So I ended up calling Candace and Mimi and them, and they was like, you know, see if the bar still has it, because they was like, I don't think you closed out your tab. And then they had also told me so mind you, when we first got there to the bar, I had flirted with the security guard. I was like, damn. Well, it wasn't a flirt, but I basically gave him company. I was like, damn, he fine. He was a big ass fine motherfucker. And so And mind y'all, cause you motherfuckers like to assume shit. This was before Michael. Man, bitch, I'm basically a single woman, so I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. But anyway, so we had drunk and got fucked up, and so apparently, as we was leaving, I was flirting with the security guard, and I was spanking the man on his ass, y'all. I was like, what? They said, yeah, you was spanking him on his booty. I was like, why? They was like, I don't know, but we had to get your ass up out of here. I was like, I was spanking that man on his booty. That's embarrassing. Like, why was I doing that to that man? So I get to the bar, and so the owner was sitting there when I got there, and then, you know, the workers, they was working, so I went to the bar first to but no, she told me to ask for him. So I go to the bar and ask for him, and then she was like, you know, he's right there. And so I go to him, and at first he was looking at me like, who the fuck are you? And then so I had, you know, I started explaining to him. I was like, I had lost my card, and I was here the night before. And then so I started describing what I had on. And baby, all I had to say was a light purple or light lavender shirt. And baby, that when I say that man, he went from looking at me crazy to just smiling. I was like, when he did that, I said, what'd I do? I said, I already heard that I was making a security guard on his ass. And I was like, what was I doing? Was I doing some crazy stuff? Look, I had to ask that man, because I was like, I need to know. He was like, nah, you weren't doing nothing crazy. And I was like, whew. I was like, look, we don't need no little crazy videos about me doing some shit I ain't supposed to be doing. But anyway, I said, yeah, I had ended up when I made it home, I didn't see my card or whatever in my thing, so I was like, came back to see if it was here. And then he was like, you know, he asked me my name and date of birth, and I actually had to give him my ID. So so he looked through the cards, and then they ended up, at first they couldn't find it, and then I was like, oh my God, I was like, Lord, please find my card. And then it was in a stack where like, you know, people leave, and then after a certain time they'll put it in a certain stack. So they was like, oh, it's here, found it. I was like, Lord, thank you, Jesus. I need my card. So found my card or whatever, and then I left. So I'm supposed to be talking about Candace, but anyway, so mind y'all, remember she was like you don't hang with us no more, right? So all of a sudden she had started being real friendly with me. You know, yeah. I'm like, the first day she did it, I looked at her real crazy, like, bitch, what are you doing? I was confused at the same time, but I'm like, why is she being so friendly with me? That's the thing. So, like I said, her and Mimi was like this, but then me and her became like this. So, she ended up getting her apartment. Well, she ended up moving. I don't know if she was staying with her mama or some shit like that, but she moved out her mama's house and ended up getting her apartment. If y'all catch what the fuck I'm putting down, right? These people are benefiting off of my energy. So, and mind you, not only that, let me, cause here, look. So, like I said, they was benefiting off my energy. So, Mimi had ended up getting a brand new car. A couple of other people that would hang with us had ended up getting some brand new cars. Who else? Like I said, Michael got the apartment. She got the apartment, and then she ended up also getting a brand new car. Anyway, so me and her, like, okay, she got the apartment, right? So a couple of us was supposed to help her move, right? So it was supposed to be me, Mimi, Billy, and Aisha, and then probably some other co-workers or whatever. We all supposed to help her move. And on top of that, her family. Oh, excuse me. So I get to her apartment, and you know, her family is getting the stuff out of the U-Haul. So I asked her where everybody at, because I didn't see none of the folks, right? She said Aisha had something she had to go do. Lies. Mimi didn't come, and Billy didn't come. So I was like, I said, damn, like, these supposed to be your motherfucking people. Ain't nobody showed up for you but me. These motherfuckers you hang with every day. So, we get, you know, getting the stuff off the U-Haul, and we got everything moved all in, and then, mind y'all, this stuff is dusty and old, and then she got all these books and weird old ugly pictures, and just everything looked old and antique. Even the furniture. The only thing that was probably brand new looking was the bed and the couch. And so, you know, she was taking stuff out of boxes and, you know, putting stuff up on the wall and all of that. And she pulled out a flag. What's the flag? Damn. What's the British flag? I don't know the motherfucking name, but y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. She pulled that flag out and hung it up on her wall. And I looked at that flag, and I was like, I'm not gonna judge her. I'm not gonna judge her. That's not my place to fucking judge her. But bitch, I was right for judging her. So I was like, okay, we're gonna overlook that. Cause mind y'all, I'm friendly as fuck and I'm naive as fuck. Okay. So we getting, you know, we putting up stuff, and then, you know, finally got to like really get introduced to her siblings, and one of her siblings, fiance or wife, I don't know, they was one of them. And then, you know, her mom or whatever. So mom had left and went to go get some more stuff for her apartment. And then her aunt came. And I immediately got a vibe from auntie. Hence that flag. If y'all understand what the fuck I'm saying. If not, I need you to use your brain. But anyway, um she came in, Candace introduced me to her, and you know, she came in, I like the apartment and all this, and then she left. So, you know me, I'm just being me, little naive, friendly me. So I'm, you know, looking at the pictures, and she got to telling me about her dad. And um yes, bitch, I scratched my well, it wasn't my underarm, it was like a close by. But anyway, that ain't none of your motherfucking business. Just pay attention. So, um, I'm looking at her pictures, you know, of her when she was younger, and I'm like, oh, it's so cute, and this, that, and I was like, who is this in this picture, and who would look? I'm asking all the questions, right? So, I seen the picture of her dad, and then she kind of got in her feelings, you know, because she was close to her dad. And so I said, girl, I was like, you look just like your daddy. And her daddy kind of remind me of, and she in a way kind of in the face back then, kind of, you know, kind of remind me of Jim Carrey. Like she could have been his daughter or some shit. And then like her dad could have been Jim Carrey's brother or some shit. But so like I said, we was having a good time, and we was getting everything situated. So her brother had left. One of her brothers had left, and he went back to the house because, you know, they had to go get their kids, make sure they was there for the kids to come home from school. And so once I helped her get everything settled in, then we all was there, and we started playing a card game. Oh boy, before we got to the card game, the guy that she was dating at the point in time, he came. And like I said, we had became like this. So she would always, you know, tell me about the boy. Like, you know, she just bragging about him, how nice he treating her, and the nice little dates he would take her on and stuff like that. And me being me, I'm happy for you, because I'm the person of love. I want to see people in love, and bitch, I want to be in love too. And then I'm gonna spread it. Goddamn, I'm gonna give you love. I'm gonna love on people. That's just me. But he came, and so she introduced me to him, and sweet guy. He came with flowers, some beautiful ass flowers. They was some like different color purples, pinks, what is it, orchids? And I was like, I like these motherfucking flowers. And I really liked them because the colors, you know, and purple is my favorite color, as you can see. But anyway. And so at work, I would always wear like a purple ski suit, or my ski pants and coat and shit like that. Like I was purple down. And we had some motherfuckers trying to copy that. As usual, per usual. So you know, he comes in, she introduced him. So we popped a bottle of wine, everybody drinking wine, and we started to play the card game, right? So her brother and sister and stuff like that, it was like a couple of them sitting on the couch, and it was like it wasn't a couch, it was like the love seat or whatever. So they were sitting on that, and then the rest of us was like sitting on the floor, and her boyfriend was sitting in this chair. So it was her brother and then one of her sisters sitting on the love seat, and then it was her brother, her other brother, and then his wife. They were sitting on the floor. Then, like, y'all can't see my motherfucking hand. So we were like all sitting in a circle, goddamn. But anyway, it was me. Then she was to my right, and to the right of her was her boyfriend sitting in a chair. So we was playing. Damn, I can't think of the name of the game. But basically, it will be a person's turn. They will read the question on their card, and you had to guess the answer or whatever. And for some reason, every time it was her boyfriend's turn to ask his question, I always got his question right. Weird, right? So, you know, me and like we over there, we was making eye contact or whatever. So I dabbed him up. I was like, yeah. I was like, cause I was getting out, like when it was other people's turn, like we would get that shit wrong. So whenever it was his turn to ask his question, I would always get the answer right. So I was like, yeah. I said, me and you, we like that. So I'm just being me. I'm not trying to, do nothing. So I caught her side-eyeing me in that moment. And somebody up. It's, well, what time is it? It's 5:56. I've been up since 3. So anyway, so I like I said, I noticed her side-eyeing me. And so the game ended or whatever. And I went home around by like 10 something. And he was still there. So come to work the next day, y'all. I'm walking through shipping. And that's, because they worked in shipping, right? So I'm walking through, and I think I was taking some pallets back there. I was going to pick up something. I don't know. I was going to do something. Ain't no telling what I was going to do. Probably nothing. But she literally, I don't know where the fuck she came from, but she ran up to me, and she was all, in major white girl panic mode type shit. She, yeah. I'm like, what? What's up? What's wrong, girl? So she just got this spilling the tea. She was like, then after I left and after everybody left, the boyfriend broke up with her. And I'm like, what? I'm like, why? And I forgot the reason why she told me why he broke up with her. But he broke up with her. And okay, so let's get into the shit, right? Now, she had told me that, because like I said, every day she would come and she would talk about this boy, like every day. And she told me he was into witchcraft. Now, there's a good and a bad side to witchcraft, right, y'all? So she said, he was raised in it. But, he was on the good side. So obviously, he was trying to warn me about her, because obviously he had saw some things, and that's why me and him was connecting during that game. But mind you, I don't even know I have certain gifts. I don't even know I have gifts at all. I'm learning in this moment, and then still learning now about my gifts. And so she was like, he broke up with me and he left or whatever. So she said she got fucking angry, furious, all the mad words you can fucking use, right? And she said I started heavily drinking and smoking until I passed out. And she said I wake up the next morning and I got dirt in my nails. Now, when she said those words to me, I was like, either this bitch just did a graveyard spell on either me, on him, or both of us, or just me. Something happened. But I know for sure she did a motherfucking graveyard spell, y'all. And how I knew this was because so at the point in time, back in 2016, 17, I had just left an abusive relationship. And yeah, y'all, look, I done been through the motherfucking mud. But anyway, I'm just gonna give bits and pieces of that. So God had, after leaving there and I moved with my oldest brother, I had went into like kind of like a deep depression state, and I was stress eating and all of that. I had picked up a lot of weight. So late at night, I would just heavily watch this YouTuber, well, two YouTubers, Dane Calloway and then Stephanie P. Smith. And I was watching those a lot, but majority Stephanie P. Smith. And she was like, she gave me a lot of insight on, people that do, the different types of crafts and voodoo and hoodoo and all that stuff, and how you can tell the signs of being spiritually attacked, and people doing graveyard spells, all the shit, right? Because her mama was doing it to her. And, God was revealing a lot of that shit, to her. So anyway, when Candace said she woke up with the dirt in her nails, y'all, I kid you not, that day, I did not talk to that bitch no more. I stopped hanging out with him. Period. Like, well, I wouldn't say I stopped talking to them completely, but like as far as the hanging out, like if we was at work, yeah, we'd have a conversation, but with her, it was short and sweet. And so that shit, like, I was like, as soon as she said that, my mind just got to thinking. I was like, okay, who the fuck? Okay, if she woke up with dirt in her nails, the bitch she had to do a graveyard spell, graveyard ritual. But my mind went to, on who? And I was like, she either had to do it on him, me, or both of us, because of what she saw and why she side-eyed me. But mind you, these motherfuckers, all of them, none of them really fuck with me. They only just wanted to fuck with me because of the energy that I carry. And like I said, they benefited off of my energy. So anyway, I'm gonna have to go into part 4. See y'all in part 4, goddamn.